Yeah, I can hear you. That I don't know. I actually can hear myself just a little faster. I don't, yeah. Back. Yeah, it's not a big deal. I'm not super worried about it. That's a good point. For sure. Yeah. Let's do it. Are we ready? Yo! Let's do this. Oh. That name, though.
I think people can hear us.
Yeah,
Yeah!
I think they can.
The podcast!
I think they can.
The podcast! Alright, so here's how it's gonna work, guys. Pretty simple, really. First off, welcome. Welcome to Crunchy Buttons. The first podcast of hopefully many.
Very first.
Can you guys, the viewer, the listener, the reader, can you hear everybody? Can you hear everybody? Can you hear Davith? Can you hear me? Is everybody here? Is everybody here? Let me know, because that's going to be an important thing. If you guys can't hear us, then that's going to suck.
Yeah, right. Please let me know.
Alright, and then on top of that, if everybody could, maybe give us a little tweet out. Let people know we're live. Let people know we're here. Davith is sounding a touch faint. Okay, let me see if I can turn him up.
Yeah, maybe on my end.
Alright, let's try.
You just got quieter. Okay. I'm insecure about the size of my beard in comparison to yours. I don't know why I'm the one on top. I wouldn't be able to explain that. No, I'm not, because it won't split correctly. I can pull out my mix amp and kind of set it up. It's that Astro plug for you right there. Yeah, turn yourself up a little bit. I'll just speak a little bit louder. It's okay. I wasn't talking.
Okay, cool. I will fix that. All right, there we go.
Yes.
Okay.
Foxy. Two bearded men.
All right, let's get this shit started. Let's get this party started. So, people, here's how it's gonna work.
Let's get it started.
We have over
Sure.
on strengthgamer.com right now. We have the Game of the Year nominations up.
Oh, what? They said they can't hear you.
They can't hear me. Whenever I talk, I can see my microphone moving, so I know they can hear me. I know that it's working. So if they can't hear me, it's on their end, because I can see our microphone levels.
I don't know. I'm looking down. I don't know. I need a sound engineer.
Let's see
Okay,
if
I
they
can
hear
hear
me.
both. Great. Okay. T Garcia sees this.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
I see you.
Okay. Cool. Well, we got it. Sorry about that. That's gonna happen. That's gonna happen in the first one. There's gonna be some issues, right? So.
Some snafus.
Okay, guys. So it's happening right now. It's Game of the Year. I've given myself 2 hours to do this, so hopefully we'll be able to get through all of it. If we can't in 2 hours, then we've got something wrong with us. Game of the Year. The voting is still live.
Yes.
Voting for Game of the Year is still live.
Go
So
vote.
go over there and vote. And then we'll start talking about it. But what I kind of want to do first is let's at least introduce ourselves. So
Yes, absolutely.
if there's anybody new in here, and there might be, my name is Anthony. I am the guy with the orange beard, and I run StrengthGamer.com. So that's where all this is coming from. StrengthGamer.com is a website that I run, and we're doing Game of the Year, and that's it. And the guy above me, right there.
I am Doveth aboveth. I guess it is a little. It's fitting that I'm not like actually above, but it's ironic that my name is that. I am a content creator, primarily for Twitch. I don't really have a YouTube. I'm aspiring. Definitely have gotten a lot of help from Anthony. I am. Should I say my name? I'll say my name. Why not? I'm Alex. So my name is Alex.
Wow.
And yeah, I was lucky enough to be invited to do this with our man, the Beard Man.
The Beard Man.
himself. Beard Man, the man with superpowers that no one knows about yet. So yeah, they're yet to come.
Let's see. All right, everybody could do me a big favor, and just tweet out that we're live, guys. Let everybody know we're here. It's the first episode, so it's gonna be kind of fun. It's gonna be cool. We're gonna have some fun today. So let's talk about the first thing we'll talk about is the year in general. So 2014, the first year of our new console
It was
cycle.
a decent year.
And I would say, let's say I were to rate 2014 on a scale of 1 to 10.
Okay. I see.
I wouldn't give it very high. I'd give it maybe a 6.
Oh, I feel like that's really not super fair. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't think there were any games this year that blew me out of the water like a couple games did last year. GTA and Last of Us primarily. But yeah, not like blockbuster titles like those two. I mean, there were a couple games that I feel like were sleepers that most people had no expectations for that ended up being better games than they were. Well, I mean, one of them for me was Wolfenstein for sure.
Oh, that was a good game.
Like I know a lot of people are not huge on like first of all, Bethesda making a shooter, people go, whoa, what's going on here? But I mean, the fact that an RPG you can choose certain class styles and play any way that you want to, like Tom Clancy style, and then there's like collectibles and a storyline, and like it's the first-person shooter. The original Wolfenstein is the first console first-person shooter. I mean, it's got pedigree. Like that game, I expected nothing, and it was pretty cool.
It's true. Yeah, I didn't think it was going to be good either. They ended up sending me a copy for review, and I remember going into
really?
I remember going into it being
That's
like,
awesome.
"Are you kidding me? Like, why am I playing this? I don't want to play this at all." Because typically, like, I guess maybe Doom left a bad taste in my mouth.
I
And
can
haven't
understand that.
and I haven't played an old school shooter brought into this generation that worked for me. But that game, I think I beat that game like 4 or 5 times. Like, I had an absolute blast playing that game. But other than that, like you brought it up real quickly. Last year we had some huge titles last year, but the difference between last year and this year, last year being the end of a console
That's
generation,
true.
and this being the beginning,
Yeah,
you have to
that's
kind
true.
of you have to kind of look back at the first real year of the PlayStation 3 and or the Xbox 360.
Oh man.
If you look back at those games were terrible.
Yeah, they were pretty bad.
They weren't good. Like, and I remember like
I remember if you bought the console, they gave you a game
yeah,
on
like
PS3.
MotorStorm was
Yep.
like the big PlayStation was like check out
Yeah,
MotorStorm
dude.
like, and
Sports champions.
sport, and they just weren't good. Or what was that one for? There was one for Xbox 360 where you played like it was really cartoony.
Um.
It was like a almost like a Conker's Bad Fur Quest style of game.
Oh shit! I know what you're talking about.
But that was
I,
like third.
when you say that, I think of Viva Pinata.
Oh, that game was awesome. Um, but other than that, like I feel like what this year brought us, more than just like somewhat good titles, was a
Hmm.
lot of like really weird issues, like a lot of microtransactions and a lot of games being released when they shouldn't have been released, or bad ports, or uh, like whatever it may be. I don't know if it was because they're just getting used to the new hardware, or if they're if the connection to the internet, or maybe this is just the world we're living in. I mean, look at Steam. One of the most popular games on there, Counter Strike Go. Like literally the entire time I played, it's basically asking me to pay money,
Yeah.
right? So maybe this is just where we're going on a level. But we're gonna hold on to that thought because at the very end of this episode, we're gonna do what we call a hot topic, and we're gonna do one of these every podcast. And what the hot topic is
Don't
going
get
to be
too
about
excited.
is just it's going to be something going on in the industry that
It's gonna be hot.
we were a little bit heated about, and that's what we're going to do. So hold on to that thought till the end of the podcast. We're going to get to that. Um, for now, I think we should get into some of the game of the year stuff. I
All
think
right.
we've waited long enough. We're about 20 minutes in. If people aren't here now, they probably won't be. So let's go ahead and see
If you ain't come yet, you missed it.
what we got going on. Um, okay, so the way it's going to work is simple. We're just going to go down. So we're going to start with adventure nominees. Remember, guys, like these are still open for voting. They will be till basically the end of the podcast when we announce them. But as of right now, for our venture game of the year nominees, we have Shadow of Mordor, uh,
Okay.
Grand Theft Auto 5, which I don't really know how that one ended up on there because I don't consider that an action game, but I
Is
mean
that
an adventure game.
an adventure game?
But I guess action and
Uh,
adventure tend to be the same category.
what else is in that? What else is in that category?
Far Cry 4
Okay, that I feel like that's fairly well classified.
and Assassin's Creed Unity
Okay, yeah, yeah.
and The Last of Us Remastered is the other one
I
that's in there.
mean,
So as of right now, view results. As of right now, Far Cry 4 is leading that.
okay.
37% of the vote to Far Cry 4, 24% of it to GTA 5. Last of Us Remastered only carries 7% of the vote. Um, so basically, it's Far Cry 4, GTA 5, and Shadow of Mordor. What's up, Coach 4? Yeah, so Far Cry 4, GTA 5, and Shadow of Mordor are top three. And we'll scroll down and we'll see if those stay there. If you guys want to vote for your game of the year, for that you can click
Fair
on
enough.
that right there. There's the adventure game of the year link in the chat for y'all to click
Cody,
on.
that lyrics up.
Um, let's see, and then sports nominees. Okay, so leading in sports right now, and you brought up a good point earlier. Which sports games actually came out this year? We have FIFA, MLB 14, the show, WWE 2K15, NBA 2K15, Madden 15. Uh, it's kind of funny because Madden 15 only has 2 votes,
Really?
and other, the other category has 3, and that's NHL 15. So NHL
Really?
15 is more popular than Madden 15, according to our viewers.
That's. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. That's because NHL has a very dedicated following. Uh, at least from my personal experience, I have a buddy who buys NHL every year, regardless of whether or not the game is like, whether or not he's playing games. He always buys NHL, and I feel
Really?
like people. Oh yeah, it's really weird, and I feel like Madden over the past like 4 or 5 years hasn't improved the way that it used to. Because I remember '90s Madden was amazing, and then up into early 2000s, it got progressively better, and then after like 2005 or six, I like I'd pick up a controller and just not enjoy myself because it'd just be that if you play against somebody in Madden, you literally just sit there and run up the points. And then this year apparently the defense mechanic fixed that, and I played a little bit of it, not enough to like know whether or not it fixed the game, but I remember in the past I'd play like 85 to 85 standoffs on Madden, and it'd just be completely ridiculous because it'd go into OT, then you'd just sit there and like score points against each other until people can't even like move their thumbs anymore. So hopefully this Madden is better.
I didn't get to play it. I played every one except this one. Madden 25 was so bad to me that I couldn't. I took a year off. I had to take a year off.
I didn't like it. Yeah, I didn't like it.
So FIFA 15 is destroying, for the record. FIFA 15 has by itself 57% of the vote. Second place is 13% of the vote. So, I mean, FIFA 15, according to our viewers, is absolutely crushing the sports category. It's not even.
Yeah,
it's not even close. So there's the sports ones. You guys have a last chance to vote right here. I mean, getting absolutely crushed. FIFA 15 is. I figured. I don't know why I figured this. I figured MLB 14 would win. Simply because I know for a fact, like objective statement, it's a better simulation of the sport it's trying to portray than FIFA
Absolutely.
is. But
Absolutely.
it's a very small market, and I don't know why I thought it would win. I have no idea why I thought it would win. I don't know why I thought that. FIFA is the entire world voting. Like MLB The Show is like very small America. Game of the Year 2014 shooter nominees. As of right now, I'm very whoa.
What are we looking at here?
This changed.
Did it? Let me pull it up. I don't know.
What happened here? Crazy. Out of 112 votes, Titanfall has
Really?
46 of them.
Really? Wow.
Titanfall is winning the shooter nominee by more than 20 votes.
Wow.
That's 20 votes more than Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, and that is 31 votes higher than Borderlands the pre-sequel.
Do you really feel it's that inaccurate? I mean, do you think that's inaccurate?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I had a lot of fun when Titanfall came out, and I enjoyed it, but the game died so quick. And I don't know if it died because no shooter will ever be able to replace Call of Duty, just because the audience, the Call of Duty audience, is so strong right now that even if a game came out that was better, they're never going to admit it. Wow.
Well, I mean, it has to, like, the game that comes out and takes precedence over Call of Duty has to do something like that catches your interest, but in a completely different way than Call of Duty does. Because Halo, I mean, the new Halo beta just came out.
It's Call of Duty.
I don't know if you saw it or not.
Yeah, I did.
But they literally have double jumping and abilities, and like you jump up and smash down from above, and you can like target your smash down and like do melee attacks. It's literally Call of Duty with Spartan suits. And I mean, there's ADS. It's not real ADS. It's a smart scope. But if you played the original like Halo games, like it's a complete travesty. So I mean, everything is trying to be like COD, and I mean, I feel like Titanfall didn't try hard enough, or didn't try hard enough to be different. But I think in terms of shooting mechanics, like I feel like if it were given a chance competitively, I think it'd be a really good game.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened to Titanfall. I think, well, first, I have a few theories as to why I think Titanfall died, and why I think Evolve might also die.
So please lay it on me.
The reason I think Titanfall died is the hype was too strong. So they were like, they came out with a beta, and then they came out with another beta, and they were like pumping everybody up, and they were getting super hyped, and then the beta was supposed to end on a Sunday, but then they were like, no, let's just keep it going. And so then people kept playing, and then people were max rank, and they've seen all the maps, and then the game came out, and people realized that, oh, there's really nothing else to it. Like I've already played 1 million hours of this game in beta alone. By the time it came out, we had already played it. We didn't want to play it anymore.
Right, and the fact that, I mean, when you did play it, there weren't any new game types that like really separated itself. I mean, it was like hardpoint domination and capture the flag and team deathmatch and last Titan standing, which is search and destroy inside a Titan. Like that's literally what it is, with no bomb. Like,
Yeah, no, it's weird, man, and I think that a lot of games are gonna fall for that. I think a lot of games are gonna go into that same hole. They're gonna come out and they want to get people hyped, so they're gonna have these crazy betas, and everybody's gonna love them, and they're gonna play them and play them and play them, and then rather than close the beta and make people want the game, like you need to make people taste it and then take it from them,
right,
and then be like, you can't have it until March 15th or whatever it's gonna be.
precisely, precisely.
Don't let them have it, or else we'll get full. And once we're full, we don't want it anymore. We're moving on to the
Right,
next course.
exactly. Once we've had enough of one thing, unless it's World of Warcraft, of course, because they can just release shit. And not to
Well,
say that, not hating on WoW, but I mean, I bought Mists of Pandaria. Like,
yeah,
I
but how
thought
many
that shit
times?
was a joke.
How many times how many upgrades has there been for WoW? WoW's been out for what, 12 years?
Yeah, that's I.
They don't
Let's
do
see.
annual ones, do they? I don't
Came out.
know.
No, 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 no. Absolutely not, man. Because it's come out. Let's see, it came out in like I want to say '04. And somebody's gonna be like, "No, you're wrong." Um, Burning Crusade, Wrath of the Lich King, Cataclysm, Mists of Pandaria, and Warlords of Draenor. So
Yeah.
five.
So that's, I mean, that's less Assassin's Creeds, right? That's less than Call of Duty. That's less than
That's
even
true.
Mario.
That's true. Annual game franchises.
So anyway, as for somebody in the chat saying that somebody's stuffing the ballot with Titanfall, this is an IP poll. So unless somebody's like getting new IPs over and over and over, Titanfall's somehow winning. Um, I don't know. I don't know how. I don't know how Titanfall's winning. I don't disagree with it, for the record. It just I don't. I never saw it coming. I never.
I
I
didn't even
figured
see it on there, to be honest.
I figured the Call of Duty. I figured Call of Duty would win. I just that community is so weirdly strong, and they're so adamant about Call of Duty being the greatest thing since
It's true.
sliced bread that I just figured that would work. So, all right. Really quickly, Coach Four. If COD can ever sell weapons like CS:GO, do you think it would just dominate? No. So I think that if COD started selling weapons, it would be amazing. I think you have to remember that COD's demographic is young, and
Yeah.
those kids don't have money to be buying guns, and
Right.
parents aren't necessarily going to do it.
Microtransactions.
Um, so no, I don't. I don't know really how Valve's gotten away with it because people hate microtransactions. Like they hate them. Nobody wants to do anything with them. Um, we were playing Loadout the other day, and
Oh my god.
people were getting upset at like having to buy it because you get cases like you do in CS:GO, and you have to pay to open them, and people were getting upset, and it's crazy because that's what happens all the time on CS:GO, but nobody cares. Everybody thinks it's like it's a normal thing. Like, oh yeah, you just buy cases on CS:GO. Somehow Valve did it. I don't
Right.
know how they did it. Nobody else, I don't think, will ever be able to do it for whatever reason. I don't know. I don't know how they did it, but they did it. I don't know.
I don't know.
Um,
I tell you what, man. Whenever I see microtransactions in a game, I'm either like, do I like this game enough to want to, like, if I really did like this game, if I had to play it in order to get that one thing that I wanted, how long would it be? And what games am I not playing in order to play this game? And
right.
it's every single time I'm like, nah.
Nah. All right. Game of the year, indie. The indie game of the year so
Ooh.
far. This
Ooh.
is okay. Now this one doesn't surprise me. Insurgency is winning.
What?
It doesn't surprise me, and this is awesome. I'm glad
I
I'm
love
glad
how
to see
you're
this.
like, I'm not surprised. I'm like, what?
I'm not surprised at all for this one reason. I tweeted out that we were doing an indie game of the year, and that
Okay.
at Insurgency, at the Forest, at Transistor are all in it. The only company to retweet
Was
was Insurgency,
was Insurgency.
right? So it doesn't surprise me, and this is a great talking point on the power of not just social media, but the power of a development team being in tune with their fans and being in tune with the arena that they're in. Had they have not voted for this, had they have not retweeted this, they wouldn't be winning. Like plain and simple. Had the Forest or Binding of Isaac or any of those other people had retweeted, they probably would be winning right now. But
Yeah.
Insurgency has got to be easily the most transparent group of developers I've ever met.
Fair enough.
They're like you could literally tweet them and be like, "Hey, what's up? I'm playing Insurgency. Do you want to play?" And I can almost guarantee you they'd respond with like, "Yeah, let's hop on." And you'd play with the dev like right then and there. They're incredible at they're incredible at it. So as of right now, Insurgency is winning by double the votes. It has 30 votes. The Forest is 15. Binding of Isaac Rebirth has 15. So, and there's no others. Nobody put other. So everybody agreed with what we had. Insurgency is crushing. And
Wait,
Insurgency, for the record, if you haven't played it, is amazing. Like if you want, if people that play CS:GO think that that's realistic, you wouldn't even, they would lose their shit if they played Insurgency. Insurgency is so much better. It's just so good.
probably different a little bit, huh?
It's amazing.
Yeah, I haven't played it at all. I just because I don't have a capable computer to play real games.
So there you go. There's the indie nominees. You guys can go over there and vote really quick. We're moving on to racing. Racing game of the year.
Oh wait, can we talk about before we continue on with that? Can we talk about like, well, which one did you vote for? Can I ask?
Which one did I vote for indie?
Yeah.
I voted for Insurgency.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It has a lot to do with not necessarily the game being as great as it is, because I do think that Binding of Isaac is an equally incredibly made indie title. But like the amount of work and effort and community involvement and everything that the Insurgency devs do, to me, makes it indie game of the year. Like I've never seen anybody do as much as they've done.
Well, yeah, you got to pay attention to the people that are actually playing your game.
So,
I agree with that.
Okay. So, racing game of the year. Our nominees are The Crew, Drive Club, Mario Kart 8, Assetto Corsa, and Forza Horizon 2. Now you look at these, and I would imagine people would probably say either Mario Kart 8 or Forza Horizon 2. Right? I would imagine. I don't know what they are.
Yeah.
Results: Mario Kart 8 is winning with 27 votes.
Wow.
The Crew is second with 23 votes.
Wow, I'm surprised it's that close between those two.
And Foho 2 has 10 votes. So Foho 2 is getting crushed.
Foho?
Yeah, Foho.
Wow.
Yeah.
You shame the name.
Dude, it's Foho. I'm legit like that.
It's
I shorten my words. It's what the
Foho.
kids do these days. It's what I do these days. Like I'm gonna totes eat some yog later. Spin Tires, if it was a racing game, would be, that game was so good. Oh my god.
Okay.
And no others right there. So Assetto Corsa is getting its ass kicked, which it would. Nobody even knows what that is.
Yeah, I mean it's a computer like hypersim. So.
Mario Kart 8, I could not disagree with more. I hate Mario Kart 8. I hate it. There's an actual YouTube video.
You can't even respect Mario Kart as Mario Kart.
It's not a good Mario Kart. It's awful. It's awful. There's a legit YouTube video of me rage quitting the game. I literally, the video of if I'm playing and the game just completely fucks me, and I get up and I'm like, I'm done. I'm not playing this anymore, and that's it. And I've never played it since.
Okay, fair enough.
I can't stand it. I don't like it. I think it's horrible. Like you talk about the things that Mario Kart sucks at.
About Drive Club.
Like the
Or at least
fucking
Drive Club when it came out.
like the blue shells and the rubber banding.
The blue shells.
And like
it's a joke.
in that game, it's almost like
It's a joke.
that's all they did in this game. Oh, I can't stand it. I can't stand it. I can't stand it.
What I love is how in Mario Kart, no matter what race you're playing, within a half mile of the end of the track, somebody gets a blue shell.
Always.
If you're winning, somebody gets a blue shell. So you're screwed either way.
It's stupid. It's stupid. I can't stand it. I can't stand it. The Crew is second with 23 votes. That is my. That was the one I picked. I picked the Crew.
Okay,
yeah,
fair
I picked the Crew.
I picked Forza Horizon because, I mean, I love the first Forza Horizon. I know you did too.
Yeah, that's my all-time favorite.
I just love Forza and the fact that they made it truly open world. Like, did you drive at all in that game? I mean, did you play it very much or watch it at all? Yeah.
No, I never played it.
Oh man. Yet, I mean, if you get a chance to, I know it's a game to go back and play, but if you ever get a chance to, it's like not only is it a Forza game with, all the things that you can change with Forza in terms of like on the fly tuning, being able to customize anything that you want to. Like there's the ridiculousness aspect to the game. Like you can go drive through a grapevine and go jump off of stuff and like it's, I don't know. I enjoyed it a lot.
The reason I didn't play it is last year when the first Forza Horizon came out, well, 2013. Probably end of 2013 is when it came out, I think. Sounds right to me.
September 2012. I want to say.
2012.
I
Okay.
want to say. Yeah.
That actually sounds, yeah, okay. So I went out and well, first off, I had a Logitech G27 complete racing setup.
Ooh,
Forza
baby.
Horizon comes out, doesn't support the Logitech. So I have this amazing racing game that I can't play with my wheel. So I
Right.
literally went out and spent $500 and I bought a Fanatec CSR complete setup so I could play Forza Horizon. That's
Oh
how
wow,
much I love this game.
that's even
So
more intense.
so then
Jesus.
Forza Horizon 2 gets announced. And I'm
Mhm.
like, this is awesome. I have this new wheel set up. It works great. Microsoft comes out and says, oh, by the way, those old wheels won't work
Yeah.
because
Firmware. Whatever.
firmware
Yeah.
bullshit, which is a load of horse crap because now they sell Microsoft branded wheels. They're the only ones that work with it. And it has nothing to do with firmware. It has everything to do with Microsoft being greedy bunch of sons of bitches. Because guess what? The Crew or any of the other racing games on PC, they
Mhm.
always work. Right? So
It's true.
you can't tell me that the new game requires new firmware or firmware. That's a firmware. It doesn't. You can easily make the game work for your system.
Yeah.
Like it's the same
Absolutely.
USB, it's the same firmware. Don't it's so anyway. I feel like there was a piece of me that didn't play it just because A, I don't like racing games without a wheel, and B, I don't want to buy your game if you're gonna treat me like shit.
Right.
So
Right. You know, it's
sorry.
really interesting because you're talking about how Microsoft is treating people like shit, and I felt that way almost like since Xbox One came out, and I that was the first console I bought. So if you're like, "Oh, he's a PlayStation fanboy," you can not say that. Uh, because I bought Xbox One in like 8 games when it came out. So shut your mouth. I have the receipt. My disk drive stopped working within like 3 months. Like 3 months. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna stick with this. I'm gonna try and fix it. Like I tried to fix it. I tried to do all kinds of shit, and it just nothing, nothing. So I bought a new Xbox One. I replaced my old one, and like here I am after like getting a PS4, and normally I play a PS4. They're giving me games now. Like they're just giving me shit.
Right?
Like I don't even play the console when they're giving me shit. And it's like all right guys, calm down. It's okay. Like you lost me.
Now
It's
they're like,
okay.
oh, you can buy an Xbox One for $300. And we give you 2 games and a free year of Xbox and a blowjob. It's like, dude, I don't.
Yeah.
I, it's getting ridiculous at this point.
Yeah.
Um, so, and that's why you buy the $100 wheel for the Xbox One that also works with the Crew Gaming Legends. I feel like you may have completely missed the point. Uh, the point is that I already spent 500 fucking dollars on a complete wheel setup that now doesn't work because Microsoft is an asshole. Like I realize that yeah. Oh, the simple solution: go spend more money on a different wheel.
Yes. Go
I
spend more.
thank you for that. That's not the point at all. That anyway. That's not. As for when I'm trimming my beard equalizer, I'm probably not.
Yeah.
As of right now, we're growing it for a charity. We're growing it for good reason, and to be honest, I like it. I love it. Last night I actually used it as a pillow. I moved it next to my head, and it was
Really?
yeah, and it
It's
was
that full, huh? It's got that much bounce?
it's got that much bounce.
Wow.
So which okay, so you picked Forza Horizon 2, I picked the Crew, and I think that,
Yeah.
and here's why I picked the Crew, and I know a lot of you are going to be like, oh, you know what? For me, there's a big piece of what I love about new games is how ambitious they are,
I
and
agree.
how much they try to tackle. I don't. I mean, I know for a fact there's never been a game as large as the Crew. Um, of course, there could be more things. There could have been more cars.
Sure.
There could have
Well,
been
I
more
mean,
cities. There could have been more whatever. But it's the first one. It's the first year of of a console generation. Nothing like it's ever been done. And the fact that they even made it work. And look at the jump between Test Drive Unlimited 2 and the Crew, right? Like
yeah.
that gap is so big that I feel like in my opinion, they deserved my vote. And I hope that I hope that the Crew 2, hope they don't call it that.
Oh my
Um,
God.
but I mean, it's gonna crush. It's gonna completely crush.
I feel like
So
they need to focus more on establishing like like a franchise driving mechanic. And I know you know what I'm talking about because Need for Speed has shit like, boosting and weapons, and Forza has like not hyper sim, but
Right.
more sim than most console games.
Right.
And like games like Dirt are all about rally racing and customization, but they don't have the same kind of like. I feel like in order for the crew to really be successful, it has to separate itself from those two other games and be like, yo, this is this new mechanic that we're posing that has never really been in racing games before, and this is why it makes this game better.
Yeah, and they could
So,
do a. That's all. Yeah, that's in the marketing, right? They could do a better job, and I think now
sure.
that people got a little taste of what the crew is, hopefully, uh,
I also
they
think
capitalize on that.
that's the developer, not necessarily the publisher's problem. I feel like that's kind of on Ivory Tower.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I agree completely.
so because you know Ubisoft has 9,000 games that they have to publish and release every year. So
Um, let's see who said that. Mechanical Dwarf and I think it's King says it needs better physics. Here's my viewpoint on racing game physics. Uh, I don't really know what you mean by that. So, if you were talking to me about a racing simulator that needs better physics, I would be like, yes, I get it. Like, it doesn't drive like a real car. But when you're
sure,
telling me that, like, a rallied out 2012 Ford Mustang driving through, like, fake grass over
yeah,
a. And, like, you're telling me, like, it needs better physics? Like, I have no idea whatsoever what that would feel like. So I don't know what I don't, yeah, better physics, I don't know. It's an arcade racer. Like, what? I don't know. I don't know. And like I said, it definitely could get better. It's got its issues. A game that large will have its issues. But I don't really know what I it better physics. Like I don't have a real world perspective on what that game would feel or what that car would feel like in that situation. Enough to make it enough to bitch about
the
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 physics.
physics they were poorly optimized. I think that's what he was trying to say.
But it's
Is
not
that
the thing is it's not a racing sim, King.
it's poorly optimized.
It's just it's poorly optimized. God damn it. What'd you think of your breakfast sandwich? Well, the sausage was great, but the eggs were poorly optimized.
I told my waiter the other night when I had a beer with my buddies. He's like, "Oh, what kind of beer do you want?" And I had the beer. I'm like, "God, it was poorly optimized."
Oh my god.
My buddy looks at me and he's like, "What the fuck did you just say?"
That's awesome. I've yet to
uh,
use it in a real life situation, but
I
I
was
will. I should
I
do
was
it. I should do
delighted.
it soon.
Needless to say, I was delighted.
All right. Well, we're moving on from racing. I'm going to say one more thing. It's not a racing sim. The Crew is not a racing sim. It's never been touted as one. It's never been marketed as one. It's never been no it's never been it's not a racing sim. So it doesn't need racing sim physics. It's not a racing sim, right? Like that I don't know what else to tell you. Like Drive Club, if you want to talk about racing games,
Oh
Drive
yeah.
Club came out, and that game was touted as a simulation.
Oh,
That game played like shit. Now it's been upgraded a million times, and actually, I've heard is an incredible game, and actually drives like a racing sim.
is that
But
right?
yeah, when it came out, that was a game that you could easily argue needs to be
I
needs
was
to be fixed in its physics environment because it's
I was
terrible.
one of two people streaming that game when it
Game,
first came
game
out.
is horrible. RPG Game of the Year. RPG Game of the Year. Um, nominees: Dragon Age Inquisition, Warlords of Draenor, Lords of the Fallen, Diablo 3, Reaper of Souls, Shadow of Mordor, and then we added a sixth one, Dark Souls 2.
Okay,
Okay. Results are in.
you already know my pick.
Shadow of Mordor.
Wow,
Wow.
Wowzers!
39 votes. In second place is Dragon Age with 23.
Wow, that changed
A lot.
quickly because I remember Dragon Age
Wow.
was up by a little bit too.
Shadow was way down. Wow. All right, well, here you go. Here's the link to vote for that if you guys want to put in some last second votes. We'll go back through real quick and we'll see what they all are after I get through them all. But that's crazy. My pick was Diablo 3, Reaper of Souls was my pick.
Mm.
I've never, I've never been sucked into a game and lost so many hours of my life that I did with Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls. I played that game like I would do like 20-hour marathons like 3 or 4 days a week when that game came out.
I can understand that because I actually my old boss. It's funny, like he'd get games for free, and he'd be like, he'd have all these games. He'd be like, "Oh, well, I have this to go play, and we should go play this, and like this is coming out." And I'd see him online, and he'd just be like replaying through Diablo. Reaper of Souls, just over and over and over and over again. And I'd go to work and I'd be like, you playing Diablo still? And he's like, yeah, dude, I'm just trying to get that plat real quick.
It's ridiculous, man.
I think he got it too, which
That game's ridiculous.
yeah, it's I picked Dark Souls. Um, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a sucker for well, first of all, I will acknowledge the fact that the game doesn't have perfect mechanics. I will acknowledge the fact that it's intensely frustrating, which is possibly why I like it. I don't know if you've ever seen my streams. I do enjoy raging. Um, so Dark Souls, I mean, like that definitely doesn't fall short on that, especially if you played Dark Souls 1 or Demon Souls. I mean, if you played Demon Souls, Dark Souls 2 is like, oh, thanks, guys. Like, this is so much easier.
It's true.
Because Demon Souls, no bonfires. There are, like, there's those, what's it called? Like, the big bonfires that never go away and stuff.
That never go away. Demon
Yeah.
Souls was insanely difficult.
Yeah, Demon Souls was ridiculous. Like, don't get me wrong. And I feel like Bloodborne is going to go kind of more back in that direction. But what I really love about Dark Souls is the fact that there's lore. Like, but the lore isn't up in your face like, this is what happened, this is, you know, how it's going to be, this is how you become a good guy, this is how you become a bad guy. Like, there's two lines of information that's just, it's super cryptic and it tells you almost nothing, and then you need to go figure it out. Like, you have to fight through all the hard crap in order to not necessarily get an answer for it, but like on the way there you get to fight like monsters that you've never seen in any other video game, and then fight a boss that's not like a quick time event like in God of War. Like, oh yeah, give me a gigantic boss and then have it be a quick time event. Like, nah, man, like let me fight a real boss that's huge and grotesque and has shit, you know, growing out of his face. And like, I don't know, man. I love Dark Souls because it has all the aspects. Like, it has, you know, it has parody, it has, you know, the serious aspect and the lore, and I don't know, I'm done.
No, I know, I understand. For me, the reason why I probably would have picked Dark Souls 2 second. If I had to pick one, it probably would have been Dark Souls 2. The only reason why I didn't pick Dark Souls 2, I felt really comfortable when I played it. Like, I remember playing it and like I just sat back in my chair and I just did my thing and it felt very familiar, and like I said, there's something about me. I don't dislike sequels. I mean, because Reaper of Souls was an expansion pack, but it didn't feel different enough for me to give it a Game of the Year.
Fair enough.
Reaper of Souls just brought some really nice changes to the game, and the thing that I love about Reaper of Souls is that they were constantly tweaking it. They listened to their fan base so well. It's crazy. It's crazy because you like something's wrong. Like like your Crusader needs a buff on whatever, and you'll complain and you'll complain, or you'll go to the forums, and then in a week they'll do it. And it blows my mind that a company that large in a game with that many players and that many complaints, that they actually manage to sort through and find the things that need to be changed and actually do it.
Fair enough.
It's amazing. So as of right now, I'll refresh, and it looks like Shadow of Mordor is definitely still winning.
Yeah.
Dragon Age got another vote, but
So I'll tell you what, man. I was excited for Shadow of Mordor before this year started. You
Yeah.
probably don't believe me when I say that.
I didn't even know about it, so I don't not believe you. I just had no idea it was even a thing.
Dude, well, I heard about the Nemesis system, and I was like, this game's gonna win Game of the Year.
And then you played it, and you were like, "This is Assassin's Creed."
No, I played it, and I was like, wow, I'm bad.
Game's really difficult.
No, it's not that it's super difficult. What I don't like is that there isn't like an alternate set of like button mapping. You know what I'm talking about? Certain actions and abilities are either like mapped to the same button, or like in order to perform certain things, you have to hit two buttons at the same time that would otherwise be doing two things individually that are completely different. Or like when you take people down with like R2 in the game, at least on PlayStation, you hit the right trigger and then you like execute them with whatever button. And I found myself retargeting people, so I'd like go crouch down, like I'd dance around, fucking target people. Boss comes over and just destroys my face.
Yeah, just
I'm like,
done.
all right.
Yeah,
So
I had the same problem. I played it and played it and played it, and then my graphics card caught on fire, and I never played it again. That's pretty much it.
I remember that.
Yeah, that sucked.
Wow.
Okay, moving on. Adventure Game of the Year. Here's the Adventure Game of the Year. Adventure Game of the Year. Our nominees are, drum roll please,
Drum roll.
Shadow of Mordor, GTA 5, Far Cry 4, Assassin's Creed Unity Last of Us Remastered. The one that I picked, the one that I picked,
How fast can you go through those last two?
the one that I picked was Far Cry 4. And Far Cry 4 is winning, for the record. So I picked what the I am like the viewer. I am one of you. I picked Far Cry 4 for Adventure Game of the Year. To me, that was a game that like I didn't want to play. Like people kept saying like play it, play it, play it, play it, play it, and
Right.
finally went out and got it. And then I still didn't play it. Remember I had it and was like, I don't even know if I'm going to open it. Like I was playing Grand Theft Auto and I was like, I don't even know if I'm going to open it. Like, oh my god, why would I? But Grand Theft Auto's out. Like, what
Oh
is
my
it?
god. Why
And then I
get
played
out?
it and was just, I mean, just hooked. It was like, this is the greatest. I've never played in a world more alive. I've never played in a video game that felt. I mean, like the entire time you play that, you're never comfortable. And if you ever do get comfortable, something hits you and you're not comfortable any
Yeah,
longer.
absolutely.
And I love it. And I love
Yeah.
it. Second place was Grand Theft Auto 5,
Ooh.
which I understand. Third was Shadow of Mordor. And then we've basically got a two-way tie rather, between Unity and Remastered. I think Unity deserved a lot higher vote than it got. I understand that it was super bugged in the beginning, but not only have they fixed it, but now they're offering you a free game if you bought it.
Really?
Granted, there's a caveat. There's a catch. Essentially, if you take the free game, you are not allowed to sue Ubisoft or join in any class action lawsuits against them.
Really?
It's a very fine print. It's the very bottom of the thing.
Back of the page at the bottom left.
But it says it. It says like yeah, like if you. So and you know what though, Sonic, you make a good point. Sonic says buy a sellout. Ubisoft paid you. Far Cry 4 and The Crew both won two of my Game of the Year nominations. So at this point, I feel like, and I played with Ubisoft. I played Assassin's Creed with them
Yeah,
the other
dude,
day.
you're screwed.
So at this point, I mean, I don't know. My wallet is empty though. I haven't seen any money from them, so I don't know if that's a sellout. Also, they didn't. Oh no, they did give me the Crew for a review, didn't they?
Yeah, that's true. I remember that.
They did, but the other ones I bought. So anyway, moving on. Which one did you pick, Dub?
I picked Far Cry.
Okay, so we're unanimous on that one.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Dude, I love it. I love Far Cry 4.
I wouldn't play it as much as I do if I didn't love it.
And I just I'm getting to the point now where like I'm getting a little bit, but granted I've beaten the game. I'm done crafting. You know, I'm at like 60 to 65% complete with everything. So now it's to the point where I'm just kind of like I don't really know what else to do.
Right, you're just kind of pooping around finding
Right.
collectibles.
But then you get online and you play with somebody and the
Right.
game doesn't even matter. Like you could do nothing and it's fun. Like,
It's true.
You could do nothing and the game is just the world they've built is amazing. Karat is beautiful and
It's official.
it's official. Dude, it's such a good game. It's such a good game. Shout out to Ubisoft for fixing their games. I agree. Now they shouldn't release broken games,
That's the nature of the market.
but that's it. That's what they did.
That's how dude. Somebody put Ubisoft with that Ubisoft has it has a dollar sign. So
Oh, I see what he did there.
yeah. So
I see what he did there.
So if you're saying, first of all, let me just make this statement that if you're gonna call companies, especially in today's gaming industry, whatever you want to call it, if you're gonna call companies money hungry, then don't play games. Like,
Well, I mean, it's not. I mean, come on, don't be like that. I mean, you know, like, why would I? I don't want people to make money.
it's not about making money. Like,
Why do I have to
See what
pay
you
for
did there.
stuff? Why do I have to pay for stuff? Like, I don't understand why. It's not fair that a company that needs to pay its employees and pay for marketing ask for my money. It's not. I want free. I should be able to go to GameStop. They should just hand me the game, and then all the DLC should be free. I should just be able to play it, and then I should be able to get on Twitter and just bitch and moan about all the issues that the game might
Tell
have.
the developers that they're awful.
And then what they should do is they should just give me more free stuff. Like that's what they, in my opinion, that's what they should do, right? Like that's how the world works, right? Like the only avenue that I think where I have to pay for stuff is in the video game, is in video games. I don't have to pay for food. I don't have to pay for parking. I don't have to pay for my gym membership. It's all free. So it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous that I have to that companies ask for money. I don't it's bullshit. It's bullshit. Anyway,
Yeah, so
rant
you said
over.
everything that I needed to say. It's good to know.
Okay, so what were our final game of the years? Our final game of the years were I'm set up the poll right now. Game of the year, 2014. So we've got one from each category. So we've got the crew for Oh no, we got which one was racing? Which one was racing?
No, it's Mario Kart.
Mario Kart
So
8?
I know you're not going to vote for that.
Mario Kart 8. We've got Far Cry 4. Role playing game was. Oh, which one was role playing game? Role playing game was Shadow of Mordor. Is that the one? That one? Yeah, Shadow of Mordor.
I think so.
Uh, the so that's role playing game. The sports game was FIFA for sure.
Yeah, for sure, FIFA.
The what are other categories? Our shooter was Titanfall. That was so surprising. I could not believe that happened. And then is that? Oh, is that what we have? Five sports shooter. Oh, and then indie ended up being Insurgency. So, indie ended up being Insurgency. There it is. There it is. There it is. Boom, boom, bang, bang, boom. Save that crap. Embed
Save
in the
it.
post, and I am going to publish this thing.
Publish.
And I'm gonna give you the link in about 3 seconds here, guys. And then you guys can go over there and vote for that. Publish.
Go look in the chat.
There we go. I don't have a problem with Ubisoft. It's just the way they are releasing broken games. Yeah, yeah. We're gonna talk about that at the end of the cast too. So hold on to that. Game of the Year
Hold
2014.
on.
Okay, so here are the nominees. That is for official Game of the Year. Go over there, click on that. I'm going to actually go to the starting screen. We're gonna play some music for you guys. We'll be back, and we're gonna give you guys about 5 minutes to go vote. So we'll be right back.
Yes.
Enjoy the tunes, my friends. Enjoy the tunes. We'll be right back. We'll be right back. Enjoy
The tunage.
bass, no trouble. I'm all about that bass, no trouble. I'm all about that bass, no trouble. I'm all about that bass, bass. Yeah, it's pretty clear. I ain't no size 2, but I can shake it like I'm supposed to do. 'Cause I got that boom boom that all the boys chase, and all the right junk in all the right places. I see the magazines working out Photoshop. We know that shit ain't real. Come on now, make it stop. If you got beauty, just raise them up. 'Cause every inch of you is perfect from the bottom to the top. Yeah, my mama, she told me don't worry about your size. She says boys like a little more booty to hold at night. And no, I won't be no stick figure silicone Barbie doll. So if that's what you're into, then go ahead and move along. Because you know I'm all about that bass, no trouble. I'm all about that bass, no trouble. I'm all about that bass, no trouble. I'm all about that bass, Hey, I'm bringing booty back. Go ahead and tell them skinny bitches that. No, I'm just playing. I know y'all think you're fat, but I'm here to tell you every inch of you is perfect from the bottom to the top. Yeah, my mama, she told me don't worry about your size. She says boys like a little more booty to hold at night. And no, I won't be no stick figure silicone Barbie doll. So if that's what you're into, then go ahead and move along. Because you know I'm all about that bass, no trouble. I'm all about that bass, no trouble. I'm all about that bass, no trouble. I'm all about that bass, because you know I'm all about that bass, no trouble. I'm all about that bass, no trouble. I'm all about that bass, no trouble. I'm all about that bass, because you know I'm all about that bass, no trouble. I'm all about that bass, no trouble. I'm all about that bass, no trouble. I'm all about that
And we're back. What is up? Welcome back. Welcome back. We're here. I can see David trying to find his microphone.
Oh, there we go.
We're back. We're back, everybody. Thank you for listening to All About That Bass by Megan Blonde Girl. I have no idea what her name is, to be honest
Megan
with you.
Trainor.
Trainor? Is that it?
Yeah.
That's a song. That's a song of the generation right there. That's a song that the young folks should be listening to because I'm all about that bass.
Because it's all about that bass.
And no trouble.
None of that.
Skinny girls can get wrecked. Is what that song is. If you're a skinny girl, get fucked. Is what that song says. Actually, or don't. Actually, don't.
Yeah, no. If you're a skinny girl, you probably won't get fucked.
You probably won't.
That's what she's saying.
Skinny, healthy, skinny, fit. Don't be fit. Don't be healthy.
Right.
You should just don't do. You should just
load up on carbs.
Just load up on carbs and just be all about that bass. Because
just
at the end of the day,
sit back on that beautiful, gigantic keister of yours.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And just watch some Netflix.
Watch some Netflix. We're back.
And indulge.
We're back, everybody. What are we doing here? We're going with well, first off, let's tweet out. Crunchy Buttons still going live. About to announce that Game of the Year 2014. Get in here, dumbass.
About to be real.
Oops. I probably should have put a link in there. Who's the dumbass now?
Who's the biatch now?
Right. Anyway, this will give you guys some more time to do your thing, to go vote. For those of you that didn't vote yet, go vote. Go vote. Hey, everybody. I will tell you what I'm going to vote for in a second here. As of right now, we've only got 10 votes in, which is pretty weak, but that's okay. I appreciate those of you that did vote. Far Cry 4 is crushing. At this point, Far Cry 4 is just crushing. It's got almost all the votes. I don't know what the other vote is. Oh, Destiny. Somebody wanted Destiny to win Game of the Year. Okay. Destiny's hardly even a game, let alone can it even be in the conversation of Game of the Year. Maybe most overhyped Game of the Year, perhaps biggest flop of the year. I might give Destiny.
Biggest flop of the year.
No way, shape, or form could Destiny ever be Game of the Year. I don't know who wrote that. I mean, your opinion's your opinion. I think it's great that you enjoy that game. Because without you, they would never have made their
money's worth. Because I sure as shit didn't.
Yeah, their $500 million marketing budget that could have gone into, like, I don't know, maybe incorporating a story or something like that. But they didn't.
Yeah, all the voice actors that they paid to do a game that had no fucking lines to read.
Yeah, and then oh my god, and Peter Dinklage as that little robot or whatever that thing is. Yeah.
They've come for us.
So, oh my god, it's so bad, dude. I am so glad you agree with me. It was awful.
He's literally the worst voice actor in that game.
It's like, so bad.
Oh, I guess we should go back to the surface.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, no shit. I'm in a fucking cave.
Dude, he's bad. He's bad. So Far Cry 4 is crushing right now. My pick of the year, if I had, it was Far Cry 4 anyway. And this just makes it even easier. The fact that it's between Far Cry 4, Shadow of Mordor, Insurgency, Mario Kart 8, or FIFA, and Titanfall. I mean, Far Cry 4. I don't remember a time I've played a game. Just Cause 2 might be the last time I've played a game where I was able to like really enjoy the world and like I just spent a lot of time doing absolutely nothing. But like Far Cry 4 was, and we played it yesterday, and I had so much fun just literally jumping off of things into water.
Yeah.
Like, dude, there's a cave. I'm supposed to grapple? No way. I'm not gonna rappel down this shit. I'm gonna jump off. And then just like watching you accidentally stab that dude, and then I get killed. And then like when we do it again, and then I'm like sneaking around killing everybody, and all I see is you like treading water under the cave bridge. It's like the greatest thing in that game is so good. Or trying to speak to a snake, and then getting my ass blown up by you. Yeah. And the whole game, that's the whole game. It's beautiful. If you have an incredible sense of adventure and incredible imagination, and are just able to like kind of take a step back and like realize what the world is doing in Karat, is when I think Far Cry 4 is at its finest.
I agree, for sure, absolutely. When you're not, I feel like when you're trying to do something, it's that Ferris Bueller quote. It's like life goes by pretty fast. If you don't stop around and take a look, you might miss it.
Yeah.
Like that's what's going on in Karat. Like there's so much shit going on in Karat that you have to sit back and just observe the majesty.
You have to. And if you're in a helicopter and you're just like flying from objective to objective, you'll miss all of it because there's so much happening.
Yep.
That you're like, what's up,
convenient.
Greg? Greg wants to know how GTA 5
is not winning.
I don't know. I would say because there are better first-person shooters out there right now, and it's a game that's already been released. So
I think that's it. Is that people have gotten their taste of it, and
yeah,
in terms of a new game. Yeah.
I personally didn't pick Grand Theft Auto 5, even though I love it, because I'm bored of it. The first-person thing was great until I realized that it's just first-person of the same shit that I played. Like their DLC and their updates are so bad now that I just don't care. Like the Christmas update was horrible. I got on there and was like, oh cool, I get to wear like a Christmas sweater. And then they announced things like 4 new cars, and so you go on there and you realize
4 new cars.
3 of the cars are old cars though. One of the cars is so one of the cars is the rat loader, which you used to be able to find. It was super rare. Then they took it off the streets, and now they're releasing it, and you have to pay for it. So I have one because I found it in the beginning of the game before they got rid of it. And then the other 2 out of those 4 are the Jester and another vehicle. I can't remember what the other one is, but they're both sports cars that now have like racing car numbers on them.
Oh, that's stupid.
So they're like 4 new cars, except 3 of them are old, and one of them is like this old drop down, like a dropped truck. And like, why
Oh,
would you
like
ever like? It's a
yeah.
cool truck, but we
I have a
can't
buddy with one of those trucks. I think they look stupid.
we can't use it. Can't race with it. You can't even customize it. You can't do any
Right.
hoods. You can't do any bumpers. You can't do fenders. You can't do roof. You can't do bed. You can't. And there's no customization to it. So you put it in the garage, and then it's done. So like, don't like don't keep releasing this stuff. It's just it just drives me crazy. Free DLC is great,
Well,
except
we
that
pay for it. I'll tell you what, man.
here's the thing
We
about
pay for it. They
um,
re-release shit and we still
they
buy
do.
it.
Yeah. Here's the thing about free DLC though, Greg, is that it's not free because time is money. And when they release these cars that cost 4, 5, 600,000 GTA dollars, and a mission gets you 15K, I have to spend hours and hours unlocking or getting enough money to buy a car that's already in the game.
I can feel that.
And I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like what they keep doing. And then they release these cars that you can't get, and
Right.
it's just, and then the third garage came in, which is fantastic, except for the fact that there's not even like really 30 cars in the game that I would want.
I mean, unless you're like us and all you play for 2 weeks straight is just GTA and you want to fill up those garages with all different kinds of cars, like
Right.
yeah, it'll take a little while, but after that, then you're done. You're back to not having anything left to do except for races and missions and then harassing people needlessly online.
Right. Races and missions you've done 1,000 times. I don't know. I'm waiting for something. Like, and there's so many things that Grand Theft Auto could do. Rockstar could release like some sort of a racing DLC, right?
That's how I feel. They should just they should have a Los Santos like
Like a midnight
Need for
club.
Speed style of like you like work your way up through the ladder. And, dude, it would take no time. It would literally take them no time. All the cars are already in it. The physics is it's all there. All they would have to do is write a half-assed decent story, because that's how Need for Speed games are for the. I mean, old Need for Speed games, with the exception of like Most Wanted and Underground 2, and I guess there are a couple other games, but also granted that there's a million Need for Speed games. Dude, you could just throw a Need for Speed story in GTA, and that would be an entirely new game.
Right. Yeah, I know. I agree. I wish that they would do something, and they need to do more stuff. They have this entire expansive ocean, and you can get on like a jet ski, and that's it. Like they could do so much more with the game, and I don't know what they're doing. And then they do other things that bother me. And I'm sorry, I'm on a Grand Theft Auto rant, and I know, and I'll stop it soon. But then they do these things where they let it snow for 2 days out of the year. Like do that more. Like give us more. Give us more things to do, because people freak out when there's
like
snow.
4th of July, the firework gun.
Yeah, like bring more of that
yeah.
stuff. We don't need reskinned cars. We don't need that stuff. Like we need more planes, more boats, more things to do in the areas that we don't have. Fucking put animals online and let us hunt.
Right? Oh my god. Then we wouldn't need to buy Far Cry, right?
Right. Like, and there you go. Then yeah, exactly. No, but you're not wrong. That's the thing that Grand Theft Auto's done so well.
It's really true.
They keep making bigger titles in their game, and then there's no reason to play them. Like, I didn't really want to play The Crew because I was already racing in Grand Theft Auto.
Right.
Right. And I didn't really want to play. If I could hunt online with my friends in Grand Theft Auto, I wouldn't play Far Cry.
It's true.
Right. Give me a wingsuit and the ability to hunt animals online in Grand Theft Auto 5, and Far Cry 4 is gone.
A wingsuit in GTA? Oh.
And then Far Cry 4 is irrelevant.
I wouldn't even... Oh, man.
But they don't. They don't have that. And they need to do that. By the way, everybody, welcome to the stream. My name is Anthony. The guy above me is Doveth Aboveth. Twitch.tv/Doveth Aboveth.
Here, I'll just
go hit the follow button on that, guys. Homeless, you cheating whore. What's up, Dalty? But yeah, so there's my rant on there's my rant.
I can't even link my own channel.
There's my rant on Grand Theft Auto 5. What would be the best is if they would put bows in GTA 5 to hunt. Yeah. Why not? Like, why? I don't know. At this point, I'm looking for something new, right? I'm tired of doing the same shit. Or you know, what would be a really cool addition to Grand Theft Auto 5 would be a cops and robbers. It'd be really cool.
I agree.
If I
Well,
could.
then there would be no Battlefield Hardline next year.
There'd be exactly. That's what I'm telling you. Like, Rockstar has such a good position to completely make it so that there's no other game. Right? Like when Heist come out, how cool would it be if Heist came out and they had a lobby where 4 people were the heisters and then 4 people or 12 people
were the cops?
or 20
my God.
26 of you were cops and you all loaded up in this massive lobby and those 4 people had to go through and try to heist while the rest of you tried to stop them. Like people would lose their minds. People would lose their minds, but Rockstar doesn't have to do it because they have this massive audience that just doesn't care. Right? They get these massive like 12-year-old boners over the fact that like there's a new car that you can paint red and they're like, "Oh my god, like this is great. Oh my god, the cars are great."
Yeah, I saw a guy on Twitter. He literally had a full garage full of the new cars. It was literally like copies. It was like 10 of one and then 10 of the other, and I'm just like,
why? I don't know.
So you didn't have school this week?
Apparently. Okay, so we're gonna announce Game of the Year. Game of the Year, according to you, the viewer. Oh, it's Far Cry 4. Far Cry 4 wins Game of the Year. I'm actually very impressed that Insurgency even got a vote. I think that's very cool. That's very cool. So there you go. Far Cry 4. Congrats to Far Cry 4 for winning the Strength Gamer Game of the Year. Congrats to @FarCryGame for winning Game of the Year 2014.
Bulletproof rigged.
Strength Gamers Game of the Year 2014. Yeah, that's awesome, guys. Congratulations. Congratulations to Ubisoft and to Far Cry 4 for finally doing that. Rigged Goat Simulator should have won. How long will I be streaming for? Until we're doing the podcast and that's it.
Goat Simulator? You mean Ghost Simulator?
Okay, so let's go ahead and let's open the floor. We're gonna read some chat. We're gonna do our thing.
Let me throw my spectacles on.
What do you guys think? What do you guys think of Far Cry 4 being Game of the Year? I see some of you in here asking why Grand Theft Auto 5 wasn't it. I think we talked about that.
A little bit, yeah.
Game that got second was Shadow of Mordor, and then Destiny for whatever reason tied. I don't know, whatever. But Shadow of Mordor got second. I think Far Cry 4. I think you're gonna see a lot of Far Cry 4. I think you're gonna see Far Cry 4 winning a lot of Game of the Year awards this year. In all honesty, I think that game came out and just smacked people in the face. And if you haven't played it, you need to play it. Did you beat it yet, Dov? You haven't beaten it yet, have you?
No, I haven't. I was on the last mission. Honestly, I would be okay if you talked about it.
So, the way the game ends, to me, is what solidified it as Game of the Year. Because, and I won't say what happens, but it's very understated. It's very calm. It's very simple. Like, you always expect these games...
Right, to be super grandiose.
Yeah, you always expect, like, the final boss, like, this is not my final form, and he's got, like, mortars, and you're going in there just suited up, like, ready for this huge fight. Right? This huge fight. And then you get in there and it's Pagan and he's like just cool as a cucumber. He's like you have 2 options, really, the way I look at it. Like we can sit down and we can eat a meal and be friends, or you can shoot me. And then it literally gives you control with a gun and you just shoot him or you sit down. And then the game's over.
Wow.
Like it's not
That's great.
It's and there's beautiful music in the background, and even on your way from the final mission to him, there's no enemies in your way. There's nothing obstructing you. It's just you just drive for like 5 minutes through Karat, and then just do it. It's so good. It's so good. I have Far Cry 4. Why should I open and play it? Well, dude, you don't have to. If you want to send it to me, I'll take it. And I'll give it to somebody that would really love it, because that game it's amazing. It's really good.
A lot of people that would really like that game. Just saying. Homeless doesn't get to see my fan anymore. I moved it.
Oh.
You had fan.
Yeah. So Greg, there's the deal. It's good. The game's good, and it really wasn't a spoiler. Honestly, the game. There's more to the ending than that, but
it's also been out for more than a month.
It's also been out for a month. So, Okay, so let's move into what I like to call the hot topic. Okay, so we're gonna do one of these every podcast. Podcasts are gonna last between an hour to 2 hours, something like that. We're not gonna keep you here too long. I don't like long podcasts, so.
Yeah,
Um,
long podcast.
so the hot topic for 2014, in my opinion, has got to be games being released earlier than they should be.
Hmm.
That includes early access. That includes games that, when we turn them on, it's like these like 45 gig day one updates and 10-year DLC plans and like these just insane situations that we have gotten ourselves into. Um, but I want to kind of funnel that thought into: Do we think that this trend in gaming is our fault, or is it the publisher's fault?
uh,
Like, what do you think, Dove? Do you think it's our fault that games have come to this, or is it the publisher's fault that games have come to this?
um, that's really, yeah. I mean, it's not one or the other. I mean, it'd be much easier if you were able to answer that question one way. I think mostly it's our fault because we're willing to pay $60 for a video game. Also, at the same time, if you don't pay the publishers and the developers, they can't make better games. But my problem is that um, it's not about releasing a better game. It's about just giving me all of what should be one game. Okay, I said Wolfenstein was one of the better games that came out this year earlier in the podcast. Go on the Bethesda website and go and look up the collector's edition for Wolfenstein. Go look it up. It's $100. It comes with a bunch of cool shit, except the fucking game.
Are you serious?
It doesn't come with a... This is my point. Watch Dogs was supposed to be a release title for PS4, Xbox One, Xbox 360, PS3, and the PC on November 19th of 2013. 2013. 5 platforms, one time. It came out in July. Didn't it? Or wait, May. I don't know. It was shit. It was complete shit. It got pushed back 6 months and got released on different consoles at like the gaming, it's just like too much is trying to be done. You can't release a game on 5 different consoles that's supposed to be one game. You got to remake it 5 different times for different platforms and then release it all on the same day. Like, are you trying to give yourself a heart attack? Like, I'll put it this way. We want more games. We want to pay less for them. We want them faster. We want them to have better graphics. We want them to run at a higher frame FPS. Like, people, not every fucking game is going to be perfect, and not every game that comes out is shit. And it's just like, it's become like this hypercritical, like, storm of negative energy around making games. And I don't know, man. I can't say whether or not it's a publisher or if it's our fault, but little things like that drive me up a wall. If you can't.
So we live in a society of instant gratification, says Brian. Greg says it's our fault. Bullet Will says it's the publishers. We can ask for it, but they can be the parents and just say no, it's not done yet. Okay, I'm gonna mark that down. It's a mix. On one side, gamers are wanting the games ASAP, but also game publishers are looking more at meeting deadlines instead of getting it right.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm still waiting for Drive Club for PS Plus users. Yep.
Adulting.
Lyndon says David has his feathers ruffled on this one. They had to make the game as good looking as the CGI trailer, and audience is demanding games fast, and dear God, if companies release games later in schedule. So, here's where I'm at with it. I think it is 100% of the time our fault. So, in nearly every facet of the market, and really any market, it mirrors what the consumer is willing to do.
Absolutely.
Right? So, you have publishers coming out, and yeah, it may have started as a publisher. There may have been one publisher, and I don't know off the top of my head, I really don't, who did it. But somebody came out at one point and was like, you know what? Let's release this game at $60. It might have been Capcom. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna release like $10 DLCs, like once a month, and we're gonna see if people buy them. Right? Like we'll intentionally leave characters out, or we'll do something, and we'll keep adding. And then people bought it, right? And then they were like, wait a minute, like this is something we could do, and they just kind of kept reeling us in, kept pulling it, as we just kept. And then I think other companies started seeing it. Now, where it's at now, in my opinion, is it's our fault. And I'm not
Right.
even talking about it's our fault for buying it, because you should be allowed to. I should be able to spend my money however I want. And
Right.
microtransactions, I've never felt the need to buy them, but I don't mind buying them. But where it is now is we are demanding so much from these companies that we're never going to see a complete game.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter how much these companies do, there's always something we want more of.
It's really true.
Right? And
Well,
this
well, the
totally
problem
came
is
true.
that we want more of everything.
Everything.
It's not one thing that we want. You know, if developers got like a real set of feedback from people, and like, you know, game testers were educated and like sat down and had a background in playing video games, then I bet you games would get developed more quickly. But I'm sure that the people that they have in coming in and testing games, they're just like, oh well, I don't like this, and so, you know, they're trying to make it a really enjoyable user experience rather than a really, really good game.
Yeah, and you know, and we're even guilty of it. You
Yeah.
know, we're sitting here talking about Grand Theft Auto 5 and what Rockstar needs to do to make it better, and we're bitching about free DLC,
That's true.
right? So we're all guilty of this. But I think it's our fault. I think that a game comes out, and the first thing we do is and as a streamer, I see it every day. A new game comes out, I play it. The questions I get asked aren't, how's the story?
Right.
How's it feel when you play it? It's, what's the frame rate? Is
Yep.
it 1080?
Yep.
Is there microtransactions? Is it a simulator? Is it arcade? Is it, oh, you can only play as 7 different classes? What about this class?
Yep.
There's only 14
How much can you do?
what, this game looks exactly like this game. Like, fuck, dude.
Like, sorry, some people like to pay homage to other games with their game.
None of that matters. So, Mobile Hobo says they're more focused on fancy graphics instead of finishing the game, making it playable. Then they make small changes that seem cool, but are basically just distractions for us to forget that the game isn't even finished. It's also our fault because we get so hyped about the games, even though we know the game won't be finished, we still pay so much money for them. Yeah. So, here's the problem. Is they aren't focused on graphics because they want to be focused on graphics. They're focused on graphics because
we tell them to be.
because if they're not perfect, I mean, Far Cry 4 is gorgeous, and there's people that bitch about the graphics in that game. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, I can't even imagine being on that side of the gaming industry. I would lose my mind. Like,
Yeah.
you can't please everyone. And in the internet at the state that it's in right now, if anybody has a negative opinion, it can literally just in 1 second be broadcasted to everybody in the world.
Yeah,
Right,
it's
like,
absolutely true.
You can't get away from it today. You can't get away from it.
Yeah.
And then Doveth, you made a great point. I never thought about this before. You made a great point. There are too many platforms. There's no way that Ubisoft is going to be able to make Assassin's Creed for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PS3, Xbox 360, Vita, Nintendo Wii U, PC.
Yeah,
like
and then people get pissed off when it's not for their console. They're
Right,
like,
when-
oh, well, I'm never buying that game again.
yeah.
Like,
Or when there's a bad port. Like, of course there's a bad port. Like,
for real.
and not to mention how long have video games been $60? Video games have been $60 for 10, 15 years.
It's been a while.
Weren't they $60 for like the original Xbox? Or were they 50?
No, they were 40.
They were
for
40?
Xbox. From what I remember, I may stand corrected in chat. I'm sure somebody will go, "Oh, you're fucking."
So, we'll be told we're wrong. If we're wrong, we'll know in a second.
Yeah.
And I feel like at this point, like, what do you want? Like, you mentioned it earlier. We want games for less, but we want more. We want more game for less money. It doesn't make
Yeah.
any sense.
Right.
It's just they push them and they should too. Yeah. So homeless. Thank you. You're getting us back on track here. They games keep being released early, and it shouldn't happen. I think at the same time, we as gamers need to understand that a release date doesn't necessarily mean it's a hard release date.
Right.
Okay, and if a publisher comes out and says, "Sorry guys, like it's not going to be done," rather than blast them on Twitter, we need to be like, "Cool, like take your time,
Yeah.
get it done,
Yeah.
and we'll play it when it's done." Or we need to kind of sit back and be like, "All right, that's cool. Like a game's coming out on the 15th, it might not be done. And if we plug it in and there's a day one update and it's not quite perfect, understand that we probably did that, right? Like, or else we're gonna freak out, and that's what we do. We freak out. We freak out, and I am very adamant about it being our fault. I don't think that the publishers have a choice. I don't think that they're stuck in a rock and hard place because they might say, okay, so they go to the developers. When is this game going to be done? Developer says, we need 6 more months. Game, we're on track 6 more months, and then
people shit their pants.
and then month 5 comes around, the publisher comes over and says, hey guys, the game's what, a month out? And they go, oh man, you know what, we ran into this huge bug, we went through beta testing, and we need at least a few more months to try to fix this bug. I mean, it's game breaking, right? Or maybe it's not game breaking, but people are definitely going to notice it.
Absolutely.
Rather than the publisher being able to be like, all right, cool, take your time, I'll give you 3 more months, they have to be like, no, like don't fix it. We'll fix it with patches.
Right.
We'll fix it with updates. Just make the core game work. And then we get mad. But either way, we're going to get mad. Either way, we're going to get mad that it's not done, or we're going to get mad that it's being pushed back.
Right. It's like, which one would you rather have? Like, would you rather wait and have a better game, or get it when your impatience tells you,
Yeah.
when your inner child whines?
Just breathe. Just breathe.
Really, for real. Go outside.
So Greg says, I miss the
fun
days where the game was in a cartridge and the game had to be perfect because there's no way to update it. The thing is, Greg, that's never happened. There's never been a game that came out. Mario 64 is a buggy fucking mess.
Yeah.
Like almost every Nintendo 64 game is being speed ran because
just less code to fuck up on.
You can just like you can do all these little weird glitches.
Yeah.
That today we wouldn't allow. Like I remember falling through the floor all the time in those old games, and it was funny.
Absolutely.
I fell through the floor one time while doing an Assassin's Creed Unity playthrough, and people freaked out.
I remember that too.
And I was like, oh yeah, that's cool. I'll just die, and then it happens, guys. Like it happens, right? The problem with cartridge games, we remember them as being perfect or whatever because we didn't care. We didn't notice these tiny little issues. We just died and moved on, or. I mean, it happened with us yesterday, Dove, when you kept dying in Far Cry for no reason. It was like, hey, it's cool. We're gonna reload, and we'll just go to a different spot, and then it worked. Like these games are huge. They're doing more things than any game has ever done before. Things are gonna happen. We're just not as forgiving as they used to be.
It's true. Yep, it used to be before that you appreciated any game if it came out, and if it was a new game or a franchise, and you're like, oh, what's this cool franchise? It does something that's different than all these other games like Mega Man, and,
Yeah.
It's like if you played arcade games or like, I can't say I did. I mean, further side I'll go back is about PS1, maybe a little bit further.
Greg makes a great point. He says it's funny how that works. Glitches were fun back then.
Yeah.
And they were. And I mentioned it the other day on a stream. I actually was saying, like, back in the day, we used to love these glitches. We used to laugh and record them, and they were funny. And now they just are so mad. We get so mad. And I think I don't think games should be okay. So let's kind of push this. Let's push it out of the way. And I want to focus really quickly on early access. Games being released for early access. I think that needs to stop. I think early access titles needs to stop.
Well, go talk to EA Sports about that.
Well, yeah, because their actual final games are early access titles, but
they literally every game that they release now, all the games they have, and it's on your website. You get a whole bunch of hits from it when it was originally written. I think Attacker wrote the article, or maybe not.
Oh yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was the EA early access on Xbox One, and literally like. They're releasing every game a week early if you have that on, if you have that subscription set up. So it's like, no matter what, even if you get it on the normal day, you're still getting it late. Like, and even if you're getting it early, then Like what? Like how do they figure that out? Like what I don't understand is why they would rather. I don't even know how to put it. I don't even know how to pose the question, to be completely honest. I just don't understand why you wouldn't want to make a better game. Like you're a game developer. Like
That's
you
fair.
enjoy video games. Like why would you be like, okay, let's just poop this out and then move on to the next year, just because it's gonna stuff my pockets. Like,
Yeah.
do you really think the guys who made NBA Live last year that got like a 4.0 review on it, they were like, oh, this is a great game. Let's ship this.
No, and I think
Like,
that's the difference between
like
a publisher and a developer. I can't imagine the developers are ever happy about any of this, but they have a deadline set by the publisher,
right.
and it's like, well, fuck me. Like, what do you like? So, people that nitpick about great games aren't the majority. I understand that you guys hear them more than the average person because they have a stage with you guys, but I think that in most cases, games just need to narrow the scope of the experience and get the details right. Chaotic Symmetry, I don't agree with you. Um, I just don't. You might be right. I'm not saying you're wrong. Um, I don't think that you're right. Um, my personal opinion is that literally every person I talk to in the video game arena nitpicks. Everybody has to say something bad about something. I've yet to play a game where everybody's happy, right? And I think that the majority of people are far too critical. And I think that if a game narrows its scope and focuses on the little things that make it perfect, then people are going to complain about why it's not bigger or why isn't this open world
It's
or
true.
I think that everybody's going to complain. I think that's what's going to happen. The other thing that I think is a big issue, I mean, in all honesty, I think big websites are an issue. I think people like
Yeah.
IGN and GameSpot and
I agree.
Polygon and those things are
I actually don't
fucking
mind Polygon.
fucking IGN releases a review on the new Pokemon 7 out of 10 because there's too much water. Like it's to the point now where you're complaining about an area where you actually find water Pokemon because there's too much water. Like nothing can be done now that makes everybody happy. And I think that, and I mentioned it really quickly earlier.
It's the
I
most
think
ridiculous fucking
you're
episode.
stuck between a rock and a hard place as a publisher, as a developer. You either release it early, you either release it on time and you get fucked, or you push it back and you get fucked. So do whatever you want. People are going to be
Right.
mad no matter what you do. You push it back, they're still going to be mad. And then I think if you push it back, there's even more. There's even a higher expectation. Oh, if this game got pushed back 3 months, well then they better fix it, right? It better be perfect because it
Yeah.
got. And then you hear like when Watch Dogs got pushed back, the game came out and everybody said the same thing. What did they spend the last 6 months doing? It's a broken mess. What is
That's how I felt.
It's a broken mess. I don't know. I don't know what they were doing. I agree. The game was horrible.
I don't know, man.
Um,
I mean, I was curious because I played it for not very much time at all, and I was like, okay, so this is GTA, but the guy has the voice of Batman. I got it. What else goes on?
What else? Yeah, no, that
Like,
game was bad. Indie companies can actually make games with early access as Dalty because they are getting
I was
income.
gonna say something about that, and I think that's a really good point. I think Steam Greenlight is a really cool thing, but conversely, there are also people who go on like Kickstarter who have no fucking business doing it. And they're like, oh, I want to become a streamer. Help me to my goal
know,
to
right?
become a streamer. I need $1,000. How about you go fucking stream? And then, improve your broadcast as it goes and grows. Like, that, I mean, there's two sides to every coin, man. I mean, there are people like Solgren, I don't know if you know Solgren or not, but he's an indie developer. He develops games like Winds of Vi, I Want to Be the Boshi. I mean, they're very like difficult indie games. And like I've seen him maybe do a little bit on Kickstarter, but like mostly he's gotten help from other broadcasters.
Right.
And he's become super successful in terms of like, being able to like market what otherwise, like, I mean, they're older, like they're 8-bit games. they're like platformers with like RPG elements, and not everybody's into that kind of thing. But in terms of like the quality of the game that he's making, it's really, really high.
Right.
So I mean, it's really tough to say because there are people that are like, "Ooh, let me make something ridiculous." Like,
No, I agree. I think
I don't know, man.
so. Mobile Hobo says early access makes no sense to me for the devs, especially because they release the game early and everyone buys it. Then maybe a year or two they finally finish it, but everyone has moved on from that game. And then everybody says, yeah, this company is bad and blah blah blah.
Well, that's because people have no attention span.
Well, and that's because they're not doing early access right. The Forest is doing a wonderful job at early access because they're
Right.
actually, like, there's a countdown. This is like our next update is in 19 days, 22 hours, and 14 minutes. And to that second, they'll release the next update. It keeps people going. It keeps people in your game. Look what Rockstar's done. I mean, you could probably argue that Grand Theft Auto 5, when it released last year, was early access because they've done so much since then that's different. The game that you played today compared to the game you played on release day, completely different game.
Oh yeah, that's
I mean,
true.
100%. I mean, outside of the fact that the storyline's the same, it's a very different thing. I also think that we have a horrible taste in our mouth from DayZ because DayZ
Speaking of which, I was gonna say, I think
is so bad.
almost just said something about that.
What's your opinion on H1Z1 and their decision to push back release for EA with over half a year? Look, I am always for a publisher pushing back a game
I will second that.
if it's meant if it's required. If it's necessary, please. Like I would rather you cook the fish a little bit longer than eat raw fish. Right? Like please like I want my steak medium. I don't want my steak rare. Like just put it in the oven a little bit longer and then serve it to me when it's done. I'm okay with waiting. But DayZ, in terms of early access, I think the problem is we have a bad taste in our mouth from DayZ. It's the biggest. I want to say it's probably the biggest early access game that's been released, and it's still broken.
I also feel like people have a really shitty taste in their mouth for survival horror games at this point in time.
Because
Like
they never
they're like,
work.
oh wow, look, another survival horror game. Even looking at H1Z1, like when I watch a developer play it, and I forget who said this, but like this is how I feel. And don't get me wrong, like I think those games are cool. Like games like The Long Dark, like they're challenging. They challenge you mentally, and obviously they have very interesting art style, and like you get to participate in. You know, it's cool. It's a critical thinking game essentially, but I'll tell you what, man. I watch a dev play it, and that shit is boring. I watch a dev play H1Z1, and like he's like, "Oh, look at this tree," and he's just fucking sitting there hacking down a tree, and he goes over and starts a fire, and I'm like, "This like you need a world. Like you need to have these people in a world, like multiple people hanging out like DayZ standalone, where people run up to each other and have to have a conversation and whatever it may be. But it's like that game doesn't look particularly interesting to me.
Yeah,
at this point in
I
time.
don't know enough about it to even. I don't know enough about it. I did the same thing you did. I watched the dev play it and was like, I've seen it. Like, okay, I'm moving on. Like, I've done it. I don't, whatever. Like, but as soon as they say early access, like, oh, it'll be released in January, I immediately shut off. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna spend money on a game that is titled unfinished.
Yeah.
Like, the title of the game is not done. Not done H1Z1 is what they should call it. Like, come buy it for $40. It's not finished yet. Why would I
Yeah.
ever do that? Why would I ever do that? And I don't know. I don't like early access, but I do think that people are starting to get a little more upset. I think that early access
agree.
is probably not going to last very long because people are starting to get a little bit annoyed. They're starting to get they're growing.
I feel like early access
of it.
for AAA titles will no longer exist after a little while. I think for indie games, I feel like that'll be a good way. I mean, I feel like Steam Greenlight does a good job, but I also think that Steam. I wish that there were something like that for consoles.
Yeah, it'd be cool.
I mean, obviously it'd be tougher to code. I mean, like Project Spark, I mean,
yeah, but back in the day, we used to call early access a demo.
yeah.
I don't know for you young kids. It used to be called a demo, and what they would do is they would release a portion of their game for free and they would allow us to play it. Or it used to be, I think it went from demo to beta, and now instead of beta, it's early access. You have to pay for. You have to pay. I don't understand. It's like having to pay to watch like dress rehearsal at a Justin Timberlake concert, which I would do.
Oh, don't get me wrong.
But that's only because I know what Justin Timberlake. It'd be more like paying to see a dress rehearsal of an artist you've never heard of.
Yeah.
Right? Like I wouldn't. Why would
Right.
Why would I pay you $40 for a ticket to go see this person's dress rehearsal that I've never heard of them before? Why would I? I don't know why I would do that.
It's like it's like a down payment.
So I don't. Anyway, so I think where we're going with this, I think, and tell me if I'm wrong, but it seems like the majority of us are a little bit tired of it. It seems like we don't really want early access. We're growing quite weary of the idea of it, and we don't. I don't know. I still haven't really gotten a feel. Do we want games to be released on their scheduled date if they're unfinished, or are we okay with them being pushed back? Right? Like, do you want them released unfinished?
Right.
Or do you want them pushed back?
DLC and updates.
Like, what do you want, David? Like, what would you want?
I mean, honestly, like I'd rather have a game come out 6 months later and have it be good. I'll find something else to play. You know? If Master Chief Collection, perfect example. Hey 343.
Hey guys.
If you're out there, I hope you're enjoying my $60 because I'm not seeing any of that shit in my console. Yeah, thanks 343 for releasing a game that wasn't finished in the first place. That's a compilation of the 4 games that I enjoy the most. Except, no, I take that back. 2 games that I enjoy the most, with 2 games that I'm okay with. For taking time so you can release a beta for a game that is already another game that's already been released.
Right.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. No, I agree. The Master Queef Collection is a perfect example.
Yes.
It's the one I was thinking of.
Queef Collection.
When it comes to games like that are that broken, I want it pushed back. I don't mind little issues. Like Assassin's Creed Unity didn't bother me because they were fixing it. I understood that. But it kind of seems like, let's see, we've got Snowmad says push back, give us detail as to why and what they need to do to finish it better. So okay, Snowmad, I would love to agree with you. I don't personally think they owe us that. I don't think they need to tell us.
Yeah.
We haven't paid for it. We haven't given them any. There's no income. We're not investors. We're just hanging out. Like we don't. They don't need to tell me why it's being pushed back, and they shouldn't have to tell me why it's being. They should just be saying, "Hey guys, sorry, it's not coming out. You have to wait till March."
If anything, they should tell us less about games so we get more excited about them and try and find out more.
I'd rather see the finished game come out when it's ready, so pushed back. I think they need to be a little less precise on the date. I think that's a really good idea. At least maybe up to say a month out, right? Like the game goes gold, then tell us when it's coming out, because I know that they can do that. I want a finished game. I'm sick of DLC. How about when DLC comes out days or weeks later? I can understand a DLC, not 6 days. I completely agree with you, Bullet Will. I think the DLC coming out like the day on release or the week after release is ridiculous. But there's also 2. From what I've understood, there's 2 companies. Essentially, they make the game, and then at some point during them making the final game, somebody might say, "Holy shit, we should do this." And then they might not be able to get it in the actual game, but they can get it by, say, week after release on a DLC.
See, my problem is not whether or not there is DLC that comes out for a game, because don't get me wrong, not every game, not every game is just that, because there are sequels, like second games have come out over the years, like. That's essentially what DLC should be. Like, don't get me wrong, it's not even fucking close. But that's what it should be, is like an extension of what already exists. My problem is, and this is me as a consumer, and yes, my opinion and view of things is flawed, but it's like when I buy a game, say I enjoy it, I beat it probably within a month of having it, and then they don't release that DLC for the next 2-3 months, maybe even longer, I'm not going to go back and play it. Or if
Yeah.
I do, then I'm not going to recognize what the fuck the game was about in the first place.
Yeah, Sunset Overdrive just released one, and
There you go.
I want to play it, but
I don't even remember what I did.
I know if I turned it back on, I wouldn't be able to play it.
Game came out on October 28th. Like, it's
Months
been
ago.
almost 2 months.
Yeah.
Like, and
Um,
that's relatively quick for DLC. And like, I'm like, there's other shit I'd rather play. It's like, give me the DLC quickly. Just don't make it stupid shit like Halo. Like, oh, we're gonna fix matchmaking, and then have it not be fixed.
Have it not be fixed.
Like, just release the expansion for the game 2 weeks after the game is released, and then have it be like like $10 or $15,
Yeah.
and like fuck a season pass. Like, just have individual expansions that are priced for what a season pass would be, and you just buy each one individually.
I've never bought a season pass, and I never will.
You shouldn't.
I want to finish. Okay, I already read that one. QA process needs to be overhauled in the gaming industry. Yeah, yes. Yeah, you're right. I suppose you're right. Maybe I'm just nosy. I don't think you're nosy or impatient, Snowmad. I'm not saying that companies shouldn't tell us why they pushed it back. I'm just saying that they don't need to.
Just to expect them to would be a little unrealistic.
Yeah.
Just,
They don't need to tell us. But I don't think that I don't think you're nosy or impatient. I think that we get pumped for a game like Witcher 3 and then it gets delayed. Like, why? I took a day off work for this shit. Like, what are you talking about? It got delayed. So I understand people wanting to know. I just don't think that they need to. We need to focus on what we need in the game, without a bunch of random bullcrap that some people thought would be cool. So Mobile Hobo, could not agree with you more. And as somebody who produces content, who I stream on YouTube and write articles, it's incredibly difficult to not try to do too much. And I think that a lot of video game companies are doing that. They're doing too much. They're adding these little things that they just don't need, in hopes of, like you just said, pleasing a very small percentage of the people playing that game.
right.
And they're missing things. Like Far Cry 4, despite it being my game of the year, I wish that they would have focused less on how beautiful the fire looks and more on the driving mechanics.
Or more on the fact that, you shouldn't be lit on fire when you come and spawn into a world.
Or that. Or those tiny bugs. It should have been fixed. So
Yeah, I agree.
I'm tired of games with DLC where the DLC is pay to play and it makes it... Yes! Thank you, Blackjack. The fact that games like Battlefield is so good at doing this, and good in the worst possible way, releasing a map pack that when I get on to play, it puts me in a lobby with that map pack and then says, "Oh, sorry, you can't play. Buy this DLC if you want to." Fuck you.
Yeah.
How about fuck you? No,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna pay. You've got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me.
Yeah, Battlefield 4 was...
Battlefield 4 has to be the worst example I could think of on the top of my head of games that are so fucking broken, yet require me to keep paying for stuff to play it.
Yeah.
Your game isn't even working, and you want me to buy map packs?
It's really true.
Like,
It's
you've got to
really
be unbelievable. Like, Battlefield 4 was so unbelievably corrupt to me. I mean, I got rid of it. I stopped playing it. I'm not gonna buy Hardline. I'm not going to buy anything with a Battlefield name, even though I know Battlefield Hardline isn't even made by DICE. Like, it's not even a Battlefield game. It just has the Battlefield name on it.
Right, exactly.
Anyway, I'm not buying anything with the name on it. The game's so fucking broken. It's done. I can't do it anymore. And that has got to be the best. That's going to be the best example of what we're talking about. Games being released that are just completely unfinished, and then asking for DLC, and then requiring us to pay for money and pay money and... Anyway, I'm ranting. So it seems like we don't want early access, and we want games to be pushed back rather than released on time if they aren't done.
Right.
I feel like those are... I didn't expect the answer of being pushed back. I expected people to be like, "Oh, I want it now, and I want it done." But that's not... I was expecting to be like, "But that's not what we're asking. We're asking..." So that was interesting. That was cool. I think it's good to know. I think that's a good mindset we need to have. Is if it's not done, don't release it. And I don't know if publishers feel that. I don't know if they understand that we feel that way.
Agree with that, or if they feel like they need to adhere to deadlines so they can get their money.
Destiny is released a fifth of a game and is slowly selling us the game $20 at a time. You don't do this, so you can pay. Yeah, dude. Destiny is I can't believe it. They charge for their expansions, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. See, that's fucking the stupidest. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Oh yeah, man.
Hey guys, look, we're going on the 2 hour mark, so we're gonna wrap this up. We're gonna do these every week. So if David can make it, you'll be you'll be the dude. But every week at 9 a.m. Wednesday at 9 a.m. every week, I'll be opening up the podcast. It's how I'm gonna start the Wednesdays. Is how we're gonna do this. We're gonna talk about games that released on Tuesday, and my first impressions of those. We'll be doing a lot. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're gonna have some special guests. Next week we'll probably have. I'm trying my hardest to get in contact with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and it's really hard to get with his PR department. But I'm working on it. I have a couple of people that know him personally that are trying to get him on here. And I've heard through the grapevine that Christopher Walken might be able to show up.
I gave him a call.
I know for a fact that Keanu Reeves is in. Right now he's in the middle of making Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure 2, so
He's between that and John Wick 2.
Yeah, and John Wick 2. But we're
I
supposed
think he's still he's like prepared for John Wick, but he acts like he's in the middle of Bill and Ted.
That's the problem. Yeah, so he's trying to get out of those two characters so he can get
Right.
on here and be the real person.
Right.
And then I understand that even maybe Kermit the Frog. But the problem with Kermit the Frog is you have to get not just Kermit, you have to get the guy under Kermit to also show up because just the Kermit puppet without the puppeteer it doesn't
That
work.
would be
and
awkward.
their
You would
schedules
sit
are
there.
they're always conflicting. So we're trying to get some people on here. We're actually gonna have we'll have some real guests on here as well. I know Justin from Ubisoft wants to show up. I know that a couple of the Insurgency devs want to show up.
Nice.
I know that a couple of the Ubisoft people do want to show up. So we're kind of working. We'll get some people. We'll get some people on the show. It's gonna be fun. Every Wednesday at 9 a.m. We'll be doing this. They will not be this long. They're going to be an hour at the most. I'll also have them on. I'll have them on iTunes, so you guys can download the podcast on iTunes. And that's it. I'm out of here. Have a great holiday. Have a very 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 Merry Christmas. And enjoy it. Enjoy family. Enjoy gifts.
Or don't, and then be a Grinch, but you're still gonna make everybody else's Christmas better by.
That's true. By just being there.
Yeah.
Just have fun, enjoy yourselves, be safe. Don't do anything I wouldn't do, which
is probably exactly what I would do. So.
Yeah, exactly. Have a great holiday, like I said, very Merry Christmas, and thank you for watching and listening, and we'll be out of here. We're leaving. Goodbye, everybody. We out.